Imagine having the power to become truly exceptional in any skill. Would you recognize it if it was right in front of you? Do you know the path that every great figure in history followed to leave their mark? Is success really just about talent or luck, or is there a hidden formula that only those who dedicate themselves to mastery understand? Did you know that true mastery isn't just about being skilled, it's about understanding yourself and pushing past your limits? In this video, we'll explore Robert Greene's mastery and learn how to discover your true potential and develop it to its fullest. Turn challenges and failures into your greatest teachers. Awaken your creative energy and align it with discipline. Practice, overcome fear and ego to unlock true freedom and power. So, here's the question. Are you ready to identify your passion and pursue it with unmatched depth? Are you ready to treat struggles not as obstacles but as your training ground? Do you want to reach the level where your work becomes your identity and mastery becomes your reality? If your answer is yes, then this video is for you. Let's dive into the journey of mastery where dedication, patience, and relentless learning turn ordinary effort into extraordinary achievement. Chapter 1. The hidden power inside you. Imagine having the power to master any skill you choose, any craft, any field. A level of focus so deep that your daily work turns into a form of discipline and eventually into destiny. This is the core question Robert Greene explores in Mastery. Every human being is born with a unique inner potential, a natural inclination towards something meaningful. But most people never discover it. Society pushes expectations, labels, and safe paths, and slowly people drift away from who they were meant to become. Mastery teaches one central truth: your real path already exists inside you. Your job is to return to it. Greene explains that greatness is not random talent or luck. Every master in history followed the same process. First, they became students. Then they endured long periods of struggle. And finally, through deep commitment, they transformed into masters of their craft. Mastery is not a shortcut. It is a long journey that demands patience. But those who commit to it awaken a powerful force within themselves, one that reshapes their life from the inside out. According to Greene, every person has a life task. This is the work that aligns with your deepest nature. Most people never identify it, which is why their effort feels empty and directionless. But once you recognize your life task, your actions gain meaning. Your hard work stops being wasted, it begins shaping your future. The journey toward mastery always begins with apprenticeship. The first rule is humility. Before you can rise, you must learn to bow to learning, to practice to reality. The greatest illusion, Greene says, is believing we already know enough. True masters remain lifelong learners through examples like Leonardo da Vinci, Charles Darwin, and Benjamin Franklin. Greene shows how extraordinary individuals spent their early years absorbing knowledge, working under mentors, and reshaping themselves completely through their craft. This is where mastery truly begins, not with recognition, but with silent dedication. Chapter 2. Discovering your life's true direction. Most people live their entire lives without ever understanding what they are truly meant to do. They move from one responsibility to another, following routines that feel safe but empty. Mastery challenges this pattern by introducing a powerful idea. Every human being is born with a life task. Your life task is not something you choose randomly. It is rooted in your natural inclinations, what fascinated you as a child, what pulls your attention effortlessly, what feels meaningful even when it is difficult. Over time, social pressure, fear of judgment, and the need for approval bury these signals. Slowly, people forget their original direction. Robert Greene explains that the first step toward mastery is self-awareness. You must reconnect with your early curiosities and natural strengths. The things that once absorbed you without effort were not accidents. They were clues pointing toward your true path. This chapter teaches that confusion in life often comes from being disconnected from your authentic nature. When your work does not align with who you are, motivation fades, discipline weakens, and effort feels heavy. But when your actions match your inner design, energy flows naturally. Greene emphasizes that discovering your life task requires honesty and courage. It means questioning the roles you have accepted and the identities you have inherited. It also means letting go of paths chosen only for status, money, or approval. Once you identify your direction, everything changes. Your focus sharpens. Your learning becomes purposeful. Even failure starts to serve you because every setback pushes you closer to mastery instead of pulling you away from it. This chapter reminds us of a simple truth: clarity is power. When you know where you are going, patience becomes easier, effort becomes meaningful, and discipline becomes natural. Your life task becomes the compass that guides every decision, and without it, mastery is impossible. Chapter 3, The Apprenticeship Phase. Learning before leading. Mastery never begins with confidence. It begins with humility. In this chapter, Robert Greene explains that every master must pass through a long and often uncomfortable stage called apprenticeship. This is the phase where ego must be set aside and learning becomes the only priority. Most people fail here not because they lack talent, but because they lack patience. They want recognition before preparation. They want results before discipline. But mastery demands the opposite. First, you submit to the process during apprenticeship. Your job is simple but demanding. Observe more than you speak, and more than you show. Absorb everything without demanding rewards. Greene emphasizes that the greatest obstacle at this stage is the illusion of knowledge. The moment you believe you already know enough, learning stops. True apprentices remain mentally flexible. They accept correction. They study details others ignore. This phase also teaches emotional control. You will face boredom, frustration, and self-doubt. Instead of resisting these feelings, Greene urges you to treat them as training tools. Mastery is not just about skill, it is about reshaping your mindset. History's greatest figures spent years in this silent phase. Leonardo da Vinci studied under masters before developing his own genius. Darwin observed nature endlessly before forming revolutionary ideas. Their strength came from deep preparation, not sudden brilliance. Apprenticeship builds something far more valuable than talent: judgment. Over time, patterns become visible. Mistakes turn into lessons. What once felt confusing begins to feel intuitive. This chapter delivers a powerful reminder: you earn the right to innovate only after you've mastered the fundamentals. Those who rush ahead remain average. Those who stay disciplined during apprenticeship lay the foundation for greatness. Chapter 4, Deep Practice and the Power of Patience. In this chapter, Robert Greene reveals a hard truth most people avoid: there is no mastery without time. Talent may open the door, but only deep, repeated practice allows you to walk through it. Mastery is built through deliberate practice, focused effort on the smallest details, repeated again and again. This kind of practice is not glamorous. It is often slow, frustrating, and invisible to others. But it is exactly where transformation happens. Greene explains that the human brain and body change through repetition. Each time you practice with attention, your understanding deepens. Movements become smoother. Decisions become sharper. Over time, skill turns into instinct. The greatest enemy at this stage is impatience. Modern culture pushes speed, shortcuts, and instant rewards. But mastery moves at its own pace. Those who try to rush it end up shallow. Those who stay patient develop depth. This chapter also reframes struggle. Frustration is not a sign of failure, it is proof that growth is happening. When something feels difficult, it means you are stretching beyond your current limits. Avoiding this discomfort keeps you average. Greene emphasizes that consistency beats intensity. Small daily improvements compound into extraordinary ability. The masters of history did not practice occasionally, they practiced relentlessly with structure and purpose. The message is clear: if you respect the process will transform you. Patience is not passive waiting. It is active commitment over time. Those who understand this gain an advantage that cannot be copied or rushed. Chapter 5, Mentorship. Learning through others. No one reaches mastery alone. In this chapter, Robert Greene highlights the crucial role of mentorship in the journey toward mastery. Behind every great master stands at least one mentor who helped shape their thinking, discipline, and direction. A true mentor does more than teach skills. They expose you to standards you didn't know existed. They correct your blind spots. They challenge your assumptions and force you to grow faster than you could on your own. Greene explains that the best mentors are not always gentle. They may be demanding, critical, or even uncomfortable to be around. But their value lies in their honesty. They push you beyond self-deception. At the same time, this chapter warns against blind imitation. The goal of mentorship is not dependency, it is independence. You absorb principles, not personalities. You learn how they think, not just what they do. Great apprentices observe their mentors deeply. They notice habits, decision-making patterns, and emotional control. Over time, they internalize these qualities and adapt them to their own style. Greene also emphasizes responsibility. The apprentice must earn guidance through discipline, effort, and humility. Mentorship is not given, it is deserved. This chapter delivers an important lesson. Choose mentors who expand your thinking, not those who protect your comfort. The right mentor accelerates your growth. The wrong one keeps you small. Mastery advances fastest when learning becomes shared, guided by experience. Sharpened by challenge and driven by mutual respect. Chapter 6. The 3 stages of mastery in this chapter. Robert Greene breaks the journey of mastery into 3 clear stages. Understanding these stages helps you trust the process instead of doubting yourself when progress feels slow. Stage 1. Observation. At the beginning, your role is to see clearly. This means watching how experts work, how systems function, and how details connect. Most people look, but few truly observe. Masters train their attention. They notice patterns others miss. Observation requires patience and silence. You resist the urge to perform. You study reality as it is, not as you wish it to be. Stage 2. Practice and imitation. Once you understand the fundamentals, you begin to imitate. You copy proven methods, repeat techniques, and refine execution through constant feedback. This stage builds precision and discipline. Greene stresses that imitation is not weakness, it is training. Before you can be original, you must first be accurate. Stage 3. Innovation. Only after deep immersion does originality emerge. At this stage, knowledge becomes internalized. You no longer rely on rules, you understand principles. This allows you to create, adapt, and evolve beyond your teachers. Innovation feels natural because it grows from mastery, not ego. Greene warns that many people fail by skipping stages. They chase creativity before competence. The result is shallow work and fragile confidence. This chapter delivers a powerful framework. See deeply. Practice relentlessly. Innovate naturally. When these stages are respected, mastery becomes inevitable. What once required effort now flows with ease. Skill transforms into instinct and ordinary ability becomes extraordinary. Chapter 7. Patience in a world obsessed with speed. This chapter confronts one of the greatest enemies of mastery, impatience. Robert Greene explains that modern culture is addicted to quick results. People want instant success, fast recognition, and effortless growth. But mastery exists on a completely different timeline. It cannot be rushed, hacked, or skipped. Impatience creates shallow skills. It pushes people to abandon the process the moment progress slows. Masters, on the other hand, understand that depth takes time. They are willing to stay with discomfort long after others quit. Greene teaches that frustration is not a signal to stop, it is a signal that you are close to a breakthrough. Growth often happens beneath the surface, invisible at first. Those who lack patience mistake this silence for failure. This chapter also highlights emotional discipline. Mastery requires the ability to delay gratification, ignore distractions, and remain focused when rewards are absent. The person who can stay calm and committed gains a long-term advantage that compounds over years. Greene reminds us that every great artist, scientist, and innovator endured long periods of obscurity. Their strength came from persistence, not speed. The central message is clear: time is not your enemy. Time is your ally if you respect it. Those who accept the slow rhythm of mastery eventually surpass everyone chasing shortcuts. Patience turns effort into power and consistency into greatness. Chapter 8. Embracing struggle as the path forward. In this chapter, Robert Greene reframes pain, failure, and resistance not as obstacles, but as essential elements of mastery. Most people try to avoid struggle. They see discomfort as a warning sign. Masters see it differently. They understand that every limit they face is an opportunity to grow stronger. Greene explains that mastery requires pushing beyond familiar boundaries. When you stretch your abilities, mistakes increase. Progress feels messy. Confidence wavers. But this is exactly where real transformation occurs. Failure in this framework becomes feedback. Each mistake reveals weaknesses that need attention. Each setback sharpens awareness. Masters don't take failure personally, they study it. This chapter also emphasizes resilience. The ability to recover quickly from disappointment separates those who advance from those who stagnate. Emotional toughness, Greene argues, is as important as technical skill. Struggle forces clarity. It removes illusions about talent and exposes what truly needs work. Over time, repeated exposure to difficulty builds confidence that cannot be shaken. The core lesson of this chapter is powerful. What resists you is training you. Pain is not punishment, it is preparation. Those who embrace struggle develop a depth that comfort can never provide. Mastery is not achieved by avoiding hardship, but by walking straight through it again and again. Chapter 9. Awakening Creative Energy. In this chapter, Robert Greene explains that true mastery requires more than technical skill. It demands the awakening of your creative energy. Most people lose their natural curiosity as they grow up. Childhood wonder, fearless experimentation, and the habit of asking questions get buried under societal expectations. Greene emphasizes that reconnecting with this childlike curiosity is essential for innovation and deep learning. Creativity allows you to move beyond imitation. Masters cultivate it by observing carefully, experimenting fearlessly, and exploring ideas without fear of mistakes. Each experiment, even if it fails, teaches something new. The chapter also stresses the balance between passion and discipline. Emotional engagement fuels creativity, making practice feel alive rather than mechanical. Yet without structure, creative energy can scatter. Discipline channels it into meaningful results. Solitude is another key element. Quiet reflection allows your mind to notice hidden patterns and make unique connections. Masters combine social learning with private exploration to generate original insights that others cannot see. The core lesson of this chapter is reignite your curiosity. Embrace experimentation and let your creative energy guide your growth. Masters don't just follow rules, they create new paths, innovate, and transform knowledge into extraordinary contributions. Chapter 10. Mentorship and the Power of Guidance. In this chapter, Robert Greene emphasizes the vital role of mentorship in achieving mastery. No one becomes a master entirely on their own. Guidance from someone more experienced accelerates learning and sharpens judgment. Greene explains that a true mentor does more than teach skills. They challenge your assumptions, push you beyond comfort, and reveal blind spots you cannot see yourself. Mentorship is not about dependency. It's about learning how to think, adapt, and grow faster. The chapter also warns against blind imitation. The goal is to absorb principles, not personalities. You study the mentor's methods, reasoning, and discipline, but eventually develop your own style. Masters internalize lessons and innovate from there. Apprenticeship requires humility. Greene stresses that guidance is earned through effort, persistence, and respect. The more you give yourself to learning, the more a mentor can help you reach higher levels. The core lesson of this chapter is: choose mentors who challenge you, guide you, and expand your thinking, not those who make you comfortable. The right mentor accelerates mastery. The wrong one keeps you small. Learning from the experience of others transforms your journey, shortening the path to skill, insight, and creative freedom. Chapter 11. Deep Observation. Seeing what others miss. In this chapter, Robert Greene highlights the importance of observation as a foundational skill for mastery. Seeing is not enough. You must learn to truly notice patterns, behaviors, and subtle details that others overlook. Masters train themselves to absorb their environment deeply. They watch carefully, listen attentively, and analyze critically. This ability to observe without judgment allows them to understand systems, human behavior, and complex processes at a deeper level. Greene explains that deep observation leads to insight. By noticing what others ignore, you can anticipate outcomes, solve problems creatively, and uncover opportunities hidden in plain sight. It also strengthens patience and attention to detail, skills essential for mastery. Observation is the first step before action. Only by fully understanding your craft and its nuances can you move on to imitation, practice, and eventually innovation. The core lesson of this chapter is: what you pay attention to shapes what you can achieve. Masters see what others miss, giving them an edge in learning, problem-solving, and creativity. Cultivating the skill of deep observation transforms ordinary practice into extraordinary insight. Chapter 12. Repetition is transformation. In this chapter, Robert Greene explains that repetition is the key to mastery. Mastery is not achieved through occasional effort or fleeting inspiration, it comes from consistent, deliberate practice. Greene emphasizes that when you repeat a skill over and over, it stops being mechanical. It becomes internalized, almost instinctive. Your mind and body start to work together seamlessly, and actions that once required effort become natural. The chapter highlights examples from history: musicians who practiced thousands of hours, scientists who repeated experiments, and artists who recreated countless sketches. Each repetition deepened their understanding and honed their intuition. Repetition also transforms your mind. Neuroscience calls this neuroplasticity. The brain rewires itself through consistent practice. Skills, thought patterns, and creative insight become part of your internal structure, giving you an effortless edge over others. The core lesson of this chapter is, repetition is not boredom, it is transformation. Every deliberate repetition brings you closer to instinctive mastery, turning practice into second nature. Consistency compounds and mastery emerges naturally from disciplined effort. Chapter 13. The power of isolation. Focus without distraction. On this chapter, Robert Greene explains that deep focus and isolation are essential for mastery. In a world full of distractions, true mastery requires the ability to dedicate uninterrupted time to your craft. Greene emphasizes that solitude is not loneliness, it is a training ground for the mind. By removing external noise, you allow your thoughts to connect, patterns to emerge, and creativity to flourish. Masters often retreat from social pressures and distractions to immerse themselves fully in learning and experimentation. The chapter also highlights the dangers of constant stimulation. Social media, entertainment, and other distractions fragment attention and reduce the ability to concentrate deeply. Only by consciously limiting these interruptions can you access the level of focus required for true mastery. Isolation also strengthens self-reliance. When you spend time alone with your work, you develop confidence, intuition, and the ability to solve problems independently, skills that cannot be taught or borrowed. The core lesson of this chapter is, mastery requires periods of focused solitude where you can fully immerse in your craft. Those who embrace this principle gain clarity, depth, and creative power that others never experience. Chapter 14. Emotional pitfalls. Mastering your inner mind. In this chapter, Robert Greene explores how emotions can either fuel or sabotage mastery. While passion is necessary for deep engagement, unchecked emotions like fear, impatience, or ego can derail progress. Greene explains that mastery demands emotional self-control. The ability to remain calm, patient, and focused under pressure allows you to think clearly and make better decisions. Emotional volatility leads to mistakes, distractions, and unnecessary setbacks. The chapter also emphasizes resilience. Every setback, criticism, or failure is an opportunity to strengthen emotional intelligence. Masters learn to observe their emotions without being controlled by them, turning challenges into lessons rather than obstacles. Another key point is managing ego. Greene warns that early success can create arrogance, which blinds you to feedback and growth. True masters remain humble, knowing that learning is a lifelong process. The core lesson of this chapter is, control your emotions, don't let them control you. Emotional mastery amplifies your skills, protects your focus, and ensures that passion serves your progress instead of undermining it. Chapter 15. Balancing discipline and creativity. In this chapter, Robert Greene emphasizes that true mastery requires the perfect balance between discipline and creativity. Skill alone is not enough, and passion without structure leads to chaos. Masters combine both. Greene explains that discipline creates the framework for learning, practice, and refinement. It ensures consistent effort, attention to detail, and the building of strong foundations. Without it, even the most talented individuals remain stuck in potential rather than achievement. Creativity, on the other hand, allows you to innovate and adapt. It turns skill into art, rules into innovation, and knowledge into unique contributions. Masters learn to channel their creativity within the structure of disciplined practice. The chapter also highlights the need to cultivate a personal rhythm. Knowing when to focus strictly on practice and when to let imagination flow is crucial. Solitude, reflection, and playful experimentation all support this balance. The core lesson of this chapter is, discipline provides the foundation. Creativity builds the masterpiece. Mastery emerges when you harmonize structured effort with inspired exploration, producing work that is both precise and original. Chapter 15. Discipline and creativity. The twin engines of mastery. Mastery is not just about talent or knowledge, it's about how you balance discipline with creativity. In this chapter, Robert Greene explains that both are essential, and the true masters know how to harmonize them. Discipline provides structure. It ensures consistent practice, sharpens skills, and builds strong foundations. Without discipline, even the most inspired ideas remain unformed and shallow. Creativity fuels innovation. It allows you to take your disciplined skills and transform them into something unique. Greene emphasizes that originality grows from mastery, not from ego. It emerges naturally after deep, disciplined practice. Balancing the two, masters develop a rhythm that blends focused effort with imaginative exploration. There are times to drill, times to reflect, and times to experiment. Solitude, repetition, and reflection support creativity, while discipline keeps your growth steady and purposeful. Common pitfalls: overemphasizing discipline makes work mechanical. Overemphasizing creativity leads to chaos. True mastery lies in channeling creativity through disciplined effort. Core lesson of this chapter: discipline lays the foundation, creativity shapes the masterpiece. Mastery is achieved when structured effort meets inspired exploration, turning ordinary practice into extraordinary work.